Hey guys, I'm Chris.
And I'm Ange.
And together we are The Outfit. Now we are currently doing the big lap around Australia and we're about 7 months in. We wanted this to be a little bit of a standalone video today, a little bit different from our normal episodes, because we want all of you guys out there that are enjoying the videos sometimes, but not yet subscribed. Now today is going to be a bit of a day in the life of us. We're going to be doing a catch, a cook, and a camp, and we should get a really nice campfire going on tonight, which we are super excited about. We are currently in the Exmouth Gulf and it's going to be a really good day. Now Ange, why should these guys subscribe to our channel?
Well, we upload at least one or maybe sometimes 2 videos a week where we show you adventures. So we get to off-road in some sick trails in our Jeep that you can see behind us. We get to camp in like some remote beaches and beautiful areas of Australia. We get the drone above us. The landscapes look amazing. We get to go spearfishing in some pristine waters. We love as well fitness on the road. So we've got a lot of hobbies that we'll love to share with you and inspire you to hit the road.
All right, don't just take our tune for it. Stick around, check out what we got coming up. Cracker morning here in the Gulf. Not a cloud in the sky, it's about 7 AM. It is dead low tide though, so I'm gonna wait about 2 or 3 hours before I go out and hopefully get something on the spear. Maybe a big crayfish, maybe a big coral trout. Hopefully one of those for dinner and we'll cook it up on the fire. Just want to do a little brief overview of our beast, the General. We love it so much, it's got its own Instagram account. And there is a full walk around on YouTube, so please check that out if you're interested. But very briefly, it is a 2015 Jeep JKU Rubicon. It is twin locked on 37-inch tires. Has a 4-to-1 transfer case, so it's really, really awesome off-road. We've got beefed up steering, beefed up suspension on a 4.5-inch lift. Lights, snorkel, winch. We are living in the King's rooftop tent. We've got a solar setup on top, got the 270-degree awning. Ange is on pancake duty, as you can see, and we cook out of the drawer system, which I made before our trip. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, Ange and I, so it was a bit of a trial and error, but it's worked out really, really, really well. Yeah. Now, as I said before, there is a full walk around on YouTube, so if that's something you're interested in, please check it out. If you're wondering why we are overlanding and doing the big lap on 37-inch tires, I'm just gonna roll a few clips now to show you some of the stuff we enjoy doing.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
So we've cleaned up breakfast, changed clothes, and now we are ready to train. So we are both certified coaches, so fitness is really important for us. We really wanted to continue to train on the road. That's why we carry some fitness equipment with us. So on the back of the Jeep, you will see some gymnastic rings. We also carry 2 kettlebells, a sandbag, and some resistance bands. So today we'll do a full body workout, which involves all this piece of equipment. We'll start with some push-ups, some ring rows, some kettlebell complex, and some sandbag deadlift and reverse lunges.
Step up out the Rari and I pose. Like that I'm ghost. The club is like the weatherman. Every corner knows it's full of snow. Pills falling out the sky. I can feel my soul, yeah. Asking for my warmth, so sorry. Love, I be so cool, yeah. Every time I breathe, you can see the smoke. You don't want to choke, so don't ask for smoke. Yeah, act like it's a joke. Your girl was a track I master with the tone and poke, yeah. I could show you all the ways like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Take me to the moolah, slick, call me a ruler. Gotta respect the shooter, make sure that everybody knows. Take it to the moolah. Here's one for your medulla. Gotta respect the shooter. Make sure that everybody knows. Say, you can find me looking up to the sky. Cross me, get cut like a wire. It's do or die. I want the pie. Say, just me and you think you could try. Your team know I'm the guy. You ain't the guy. Heads in the sky.
Okay, so it's about 11 a.m. now. We've trained, felt good, got that out of the way. A lot of my stuff is wet from yesterday's spear, so I'm just gonna get all that out. I've been spearfishing now, basically since we arrived in WA. So not too long really, only a few months. Basically, as soon as the lockdown hit, I was like, oh no. I was actually really concerned about the supply in these small towns. So I was like, man, what if we can't get food? What if it's like basically an apocalypse? Didn't know what was going on. Obviously thought the worst. So I was like, right, rushed out and bought a whole bunch of spearfishing kit. I've never done it before, terrified of the sea. So it was really good just to grab some stuff and be like, right, now we might have to fend for ourselves. So I'm gonna get into this, and no matter what it takes, I'm gonna get good at it. So far it's been awesome, absolutely love it. It's given me a huge appreciation for the ocean, for all the creatures in it. It's almost like a whole nother world to explore, which I'm really, really enjoying. So yeah, only a few months spearing. My favorite so far has been in Dirk Hartog, where we quite recently came back from. The spearing there was absolutely incredible. Massive animal lover, so it's been a little bit strange killing my own food. It's been a little bit bizarre for me, but I really like the fact that it's completely selective and sustainable, and that has enabled me to completely cut down on my red meat consumption. So I no longer have any beef, and I now no longer have any pork. Occasionally chicken, but now we're pretty much just eating fish the whole time. So I try and go out almost every day if I can, depending on where we are. But when the conditions don't work out, we've turned our fridge now into a freezer, so I can actually freeze some of the fish we catch, and we literally just eat from the sea. Okay, so just gonna go in from the shore, hopefully find our dinner, fingers crossed. I know there's lots of fish out there. The first day we were here, I got my first coral trout. So big coral trout. I hear they taste muy bueno. We'll see how we go. Yes! The second day, I got my first big crayfish. I found a massive ornate cray, which I've never even seen one before. So I was diving down, I saw this beast sticking out from under a ledge, and it was actually pretty calm and chilled. It allowed me to get down and just give it an almighty tug by its antlers here, and I pulled it out. Check out that thing. And the third day, I got my first big blue bone tuskfish. Took me about an hour and a half to find it. Did a really good holding shot through behind the gill there. So that should taste amazing, but that's the first one of these we've got. So there's lots of stuff out there. There's heaps of sea snakes. They seem to be a little bit aggressive at this time of year at the moment, and there are even some turtles. All right, so I'll head on out. I'm just gonna cruise maybe 100 meters offshore. I saw a few really healthy looking bommies the last few times I've been out. I'll see what I can find.
Breathing slowly, the smoke might burn your eyes. Listen closely. Face the feeling you might not regret. Blackened roses, lively in disguise, strong devotion, good shit before it dies. Break the ceiling, it's made of thin glass. Face the feeling you might not regret.
Not a very big coral trout, but it's well in size. As you saw, it was just hanging out under the bommy. Easy targeting fish, this one, once you find them, because they're very, very territorial. That'll be easily enough food for Ange and I for dinner, plus some veggies. So I'm now going to scale it, gut it, and then put it in the freezer until tonight.
So while Chris is preparing the fish we're gonna get tonight for dinner, I'm gonna have lunch because I'm really hungry. So this is a dry falafel mix that I picked up at the Exmouth bulk shop. I really like this kind of store, which really encourages the minimum packaging and minimal waste. It's not easy when you live on the road to actually pay attention to these things, because obviously we have like less storage, like don't have access to all these shops most of the time. So I'm really happy Exmouth as one of them, and really happy to support and spend some money there. So this is what I'm gonna get for lunch. So as you may not know, I like to eat predominantly some vegetarian food and plant-based food. And I like to think the way that Chris is getting fish is kind of like supplementing my diet. So it works really well for me on the road.
All right, so we've got our fish. We've got some potatoes for dinner tonight. We're gonna try and make a bit of a bed of coals in the fire so that we can really bake those potatoes and get the fish nice and crisp. So I found some dead standing wood that I'm chopping up now with the bow saw. Ange is gonna collect some smaller stuff. Behind me, we've made a little bit of a fire ring. Should be an awesome spot for a fire.
Plenty of dead trees around here. So very easy to find some sticks for firewood. We haven't had a fire for, I can't even remember the last time it was. It was probably in Tasmania, which was at the beginning of the year. So it feels good to be able to light a fire because the days are really short. So when it's like 5:30 p.m, it's dark and you can't light a fire, it's just not the same.
Kindling paradise in here. That'll be perfect. All right. First bed. Nice and aerated. The nice dry stuff there. Should be perfect. Looks like fire. It's going to be pretty easy tonight. And then, so we got first layer, then we got second layer, third layer, And then 4th layer. It's one awesome thing about the Gulf. Everything you need to survive out here. Pretty bloody neat. But you got heaps of dead standing wood. You got heaps of fish. It's pretty good. All right, so it's 4 p.m. It is time to light this fire because I want to create a nice bed of coals with those larger logs. I used to stuff around with using flint to light the fire because it was cool. Now I just use a much easier method. Don't do this at home. It's pretty stupid, but it works. All right, that's how it's done. A few big pieces. Oh, my eyes. That's it. And build it up. Awesome. We're lucky because this wood's nice and dry, so it makes it pretty easy. Starting this in places like the Blue Mountains after rain, not so easy. Especially when it's really moist in the air and cold, really hard to light a fire. All right.
Side to time.
Cheers. Job's a good one. Okay, so we got all 4 layers on now. Just gonna wait for these larger ones to burn down a bit, create that nice coal base for us, and then we'll cook our potatoes and our fish. Okay, so here's our coral trout. Again, not super big, but there should be plenty enough meat on it for Ange and I for dinner, plus some potatoes. If you're not familiar with a coral trout, they are a very territorial carnivorous fish, demersal, and they can go very big, and they're 5 out of 5 eating, so they're a really beautiful tasting fish. And they also have beautiful blue spots, as you can see on it as well. There's really azure blue spots. Now when I chopped this guy open, he had a fish about that size, pretty much fully formed in its guts. So yeah, pretty brutal little fish, this one. I've forgotten to buy lemon to chop up. Normally if we chucked it on a fire, I would put pieces of lemon in its stomach. I forgot that, not the end of the world. So we've got some dried rosemary leaves. I'm gonna pour that inside the fish there. Because basically what we're after is we're gonna infuse the meat. Bit of lemon juice, whole bunch of lemon juice. Let that sit in there. Then we're gonna get some garlic. Dump a bit of garlic in there. Push that down. Cool, and we're gonna close that up. So garlic, rosemary, and lemon. I'm gonna grab my knife. Just gonna make a few cuts in its flesh. Small incisions, like so. A little bit like how you would breathe a steak. Like that. Then I'm gonna grab that garlic, press that in. Like so. And then rosemary leaves. Just like that. Then I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Should be delicious. Okay. Now, grab the fish, put it in foil like so. Then I'm going to now slightly just cut this side. Now we wrap it up, nice and tight. like wrapping a little present for Christmas. But it's even better than Christmas. This is cold trout. Okay, another piece of foil. We don't want it ripping through. Turn this guy over again. And this will be the last one. It is now ready for baking. All right, so our fire's coming along really nicely. Most of those sticks have burnt down now. We've just got the larger ones left. We're gonna have a nice bed of coals in about 45 minutes or so. All right, this is what I'm talking about. Cheers.
Now I'm just gonna wrap the potatoes in foil so we can bake them in the coals as well. So that should be a nice little side for this fish.
It's been a bloody good day today. Normally we travel around quite a lot, so it's rare that we kind of just sit in one spot. Normally we're just motoring around the place, touring, overlanding, finding awesome little spots to camp that are away from people. So we never stay at caravan parks, we never really stay at campgrounds. We always kind of stealth camp, do our own thing. We try and stay away from all the touristy stuff. That's kind of what our vibe is. But now that we've got a campfire, I feel like we need some sort of stories or something like that. So starting with you, Ange, what is your favorite part of our big lap so far?
Well, there will be a lot of really good memories, but something quite unusual with our lap is obviously we were traveling when the pandemic hit a few months ago. So obviously that slowed down our travel. So if you don't follow our adventures, we had to make like a mad dash from the state of Victoria to Western Australia. And we decided to settle in for the pandemic in a city called Albany, which it will always have a special place in my heart. The locals have been so good to us. The beaches around there are beautiful. It's like a little coast, so it's really different from that part of Western Australia, which is still very beautiful. And despite us being stopped on our travels, it made us really appreciate being back on the road even more. So the first adventures we had as soon as the restrictions were lifted, they were the best. Like, I've got some great memories. So that was probably my best part of our trip. What about you?
Yeah, so Albany was awesome in that it was beautiful when we first arrived, right? Yeah. And then it just started to, the weather just started to deteriorate, as it does in winter there. So we started to sort of like just be shivering around the car. And it's not cold in a relative sense, it's more the fact that we were outside all day, every day, just sitting under our awning, and it would often be raining. So part of us really wanted to leave, but then we'd get the odd really beautiful day and we would explore and it'd be absolutely amazing. And I really got into my spearfishing there. The locals were awesome. That was a really cool spot. But my favorite part so far is, I mentioned Der Kartog earlier. I loved getting into the ocean there. It was absolutely amazing. It's like a different world out there. We had like manta rays, sea snakes, baby sharks everywhere, amazing fish. It was just really plentiful and really beautiful. And probably my other highlight would be the west coast of Tasmania. Yeah. That was really, really amazing.
Very wild and rugged.
I'm from New Zealand, from the South Island, New Zealand, and parts of it really reminded me of NZ, but even potentially more rugged, a bit more wild. Tasmania feels like a country between Australia and New Zealand, like its own little country, which is not, but it really does feel like it. All right, and what's your least favorite thing that happened?
Obviously, when you live on the road, you will have some up and down. We had a few downs. I think the worst one was that time when we were in Bremer Bay. We just arrived in WA and we found that beautiful remote beach where we thought we could just lay low for a while until the jeep broke down. So basically what happened, we had to hike 21 kilometers to go to the nearest town, like find a little like hardware store. So in total, in one day, we had to hike basically a full marathon, 42 kilometers. That was probably the worst hike we've had to do, but it was worth it because obviously we had to get out of this situation.
Yeah, so it was a really tricky beach to get onto. It was about 20 or 25 minutes of really proper low range, steep sand forward driving to get onto this beach. It was awesome in that it had fresh water running onto the beach. There were heaps of fish there. It was a really incredibly beautiful spot. But man, what happened is we had been there for quite a few days. We started the car to try and get the battery to run, went for a drive on the beach, and then came back to our little camp spot, and the Jeep was just gushing out all of its power steering fluid. I had no idea what happened. I thought the main seal had burst and that we would be really stuffed. And there's no way I would be able to steer this car out of the position we were in with those 37-inch tires. So we were really concerned. So what had actually happened is I had to pull the airbox out, the snorkel off, and it turned out one of the bolts on top of the steering box had actually just come loose. And because it's a pressurized system, it just smashed all the power steering fluid all over the floor. So we had none as backup. We had every other fluid apart from power steering fluid. Sod's law, excuse me. So we did some cooling, managed to get a little bit of cell service up on a hill, did some cooling around, and thankfully the nearest town had power steering fluid in stock. So yeah, we just had to literally hike the entire way out over beaches, up and down hills. It was the worst day ever. But we got the power steering fluid, we came back, we put it in the car, and then after that I was like, I want to leave this place. Like, I just don't want to be quite this remote.
But now we look back at it and, you know, it doesn't seem as bad as it was.
That's true, yeah. What else? We haven't been... Oh, we got stuck once on the Climbers track in Tasmania. If you don't know the track, it's a serious track, especially for us to be tackling on our own. And right towards the end, I took the wrong line, basically just drove straight into a bog pit. But after about 3 or 4 cracks with the Max tracks, we got out fine. So we've done some pretty incredible stuff in this vehicle, and it hasn't gotten stuck, it hasn't broken down, we haven't had to use the winch. It's been really awesome apart from those couple of little things. Overall, it's been a huge positive.
Yes.
We really recommend people to just go out and do it. Like, we just quit our jobs.
Yeah, so the first 6 months have been amazing. So right now we don't really have a plan for the coming months. We planned actually to stay in Western Australia until this COVID thing just goes away. So yeah, we just want to stay here. The border is shut, so obviously there's less people around, although right now it's school holidays, but at some stage it will finish, so we'll have as well all this beautiful area just to ourselves.
Yeah, so overall our plan was to head northeast across into the Northern Territories. We don't want to go into NT if for some reason, like,
The border shut again.
Yeah, and we can't get back to it. We wouldn't want to be stuck in the Northern Territories over summer for the lockdown, especially just because, you know, I won't be able to fish up there because there'll be saltwater crocodiles and stuff. I'm not going to mess with them. I'll mess with sharks. I will not mess with saltwater crocodiles in the sea. So that was kind of the plan, then to do Cape York in October. We've already had to change quite a bit. We had to basically skip South Australia, unfortunately. We have been into the Flinders before in a rental a couple of years back. So we've seen a lot of South Australia, but it would have been nice to see that again. So you never know, we might have to go right the way around and just do it again. But so far, Exmouth is incredible. It is the school holidays right now, so we are kind of laying low on the Gulf, as you can see. Once everyone packs up and goes back to Perth, we will probably start to cruise around the west coast. It should be really nice.
So looks like the fire is getting ready. We
Fire's
might
good.
start to cook soon.
Okay, so we've got a nice bed of coals here. So we're gonna chuck the fish straight on the fire like so. And the potatoes. So that should not take too long at all. It'll cook nice and fast. Alright, fish is looking brilliant. So I'm going to pull that off. Sand everywhere. Oh, she's hot. Alright, I'm going to take that back to the car. Okay, that looks perfect. Cooked really, really well. That's delicious. So I'm just going to pull the skin off now. Then we'll have a feast. So skin just falls off. Look at that. Perfect, look at that. Awesome. Time for some spuds, we're good to go. Okay, so fish looks perfect. Potatoes look good. Got the fire cranking again. Get that warmth goodness. All right, time for a feast. Cheers, guys. Time for some fish. All right, let's see if you can taste the garlic.
So good.
That coral trout is amazing.
Yeah, one of the best we've had so far, that's for sure.
Hope you've enjoyed today, guys. It's been super fun to film it. This is basically what we're doing each and every day. If you're interested in the big lap lifestyle and what we have to offer, we're putting up, as we said, weekly videos, sometimes more, and we are planning on doing this even in other parts of the world. So if you're keen, hit that subscribe button. It'll really support this new channel. We've only really been going for about 6 months now, so really trying to get it off the ground, show that you guys too can quit your jobs, come and live this lifestyle, do the big lap. With this big coronavirus thing going on, it's the perfect time to quit everything, get in your car, come and see this big beautiful country. Cheers, guys.